next speaker will be talking to us about the importance of measurement and how it can have an impact on high performance in the 21st century. Mr. Stefaan Vandebrill, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, is the Vice President of the Plant Availability at Borouge. He is also the extended leadership team member at Borouge and has been living in the UAE for the last 16 years. Please, we're going to watch a video now on Mr. Stefaan Vanderbrill before we bring him on stage. Please welcome on stage Mr. Stefaan Vandebrill.
Sabah khair, ladies and gentlemen. Big chance on me now, after two ladies, to open as a first male, while the females are going to take over, I just heard, in 10 years from now. I hope so, I really hope so. You made me think a lot during your speech, Excellency, because also me, I'm inspired by my grandmother. My grandmother always said, for free, you only have the sun and this coming up and going down every day. Okay, so my name is Stefaan Vandebrill, and I'm the Vice President of Plant Availability in Borouge. Plant Availability is the maintenance group of doing all the maintenance in the plants. I'm working for 28 years with Borealis, and like I said, since 2000 I came to Borouge in the UAE. I have 550 direct hire employees and 800 contractors on a daily basis working for me. And I introduced a PA Takrim Day to award my national treasure, and it's done by the own employees. And I managed to get the UAE national treasures in the top 3 levels of the organization from 0 to 70% in 6 years. But we always start as to the head moment, so I would like you to have a moment.
Mate, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time.
He just pulled out. I don't have time to stop.
Oh, come on, mate. It was a simple mistake.
I know if I was going a bit slower. But...
Please. I've got my boy in the back.
I'm going too fast. I'm sorry.
And at the end, the guy who hits him says, I'm sorry, and keep that in mind. Keep that I'm sorry in mind for later on. So what's the importance of measurement? Measurement is an essential part of our everyday life. And many times we just take it for granted because it's normal that we have that. You talk about time, speed, cooking, cooking temperatures, but to understand your measure and react accordingly is the most important. Don't buy shoes of size 46 if you have 38. You will look like a clown, right? So you have to you understand your measurements. So why do we measure? Well, to understand our current performance, to duplicate results of an experiment, to accurately make comparisons and demonstrate compliance, and to drive and evaluate improvement efforts. And then the most important is that you are able to predict the future and decide if this is the future that you want. We have to make those measurements, of course, in record keepings, Because good record keeping helps you to find and share the information you need to make sound decisions. Because if you don't have the records, you cannot make the right decision. To protect you against risks, to save money, of course, when you come in business, and commercial advantage, which is very important in the crisis conditions today. To support long-term accountability and sustainability. And what is the world's most famous book of measurements? Exactly, everybody knows that. The Guinness Book of World Records. So, what do we need to measure? It is not longer enough to measure what you can, or what we can, but we need to measure what matters. So, the most important thing for you to do is to check what matters as your contribution to something before you start measuring anything at all. So first know where you stand, where you deliver, then start measuring. The measure of who we are and where we stand is what we do with what we have compared to others. That's a famous statement of an Italian, Vince Lombardi. So for me, the keynote message of this part is that you have to remember measuring is important and is needed to avoid a future or result you don't want. I am sorry, remember, it's not going to save you from that unwanted future or result. So what to do with it? Well, we all understand now the importance. But what do we to do with it, and what does it contribute to the topic of this conference? Well, for me, to identify, develop and improve your quality, you have to set criteria and see in what extent someone is meeting these criteria. Many people know them as key performance indicators, KPIs, or driving someone or something to a certain goal. But they are often wrongly used, resulting in unwanted outcomes. Measurement is one of the key inputs for these criteria or KPIs. Therefore, they came with the concept of SMART KPIs. I want to take it one step further to smarter KPIs. So SMARTER stands for S for specific. So what exactly do you want to achieve? The more specific your description, the bigger the chance you'll achieve the goal. M for measurable. This means breaking down the goal into measurable elements, and because you will need concrete evidence. Attainable, that means investigating where the goal really is acceptable to you. You'll have to make the pro and con balance. R from relevant is reaching the goal relevant to the person we are giving the goal to. Timely, install deadlines for the goal and the team and go after them. Keep the timeline realistic and flexible. That way you will keep the moral high. If you make it too tight, they will not make it. Explainable. That's why I add the E and the R. Explainable. Most people don't understand what we expect from them. So you have to ensure that your KPI is easy to understand and that you can communicate the KPI definition to all stakeholders, yourself and the person who has to achieve it. And relative. Also very important, we are moving into a modern world. Your business is changing from today to tomorrow. Is tomorrow your KPI still relative to the change that the company went through? So don't forget, by setting the right goals for the right persons using a smarter approach and measured accurately, you will find or be able to develop and nurture yourself and your treasures. Enjoy the conference. Thank you.